The Macedonian Struggle, a Greek struggle in Macedonia, Bulgarian, Greek armed propaganda in Macedonia, was a series of social, political, cultural and military conflicts between Greeks and Bulgarians in the region of Ottoman Macedonia between 1904 and 1908. The conflict was part of a wider rebel war in which revolutionary organizations of Greeks, Bulgarians and Serbs all fought over Macedonia. Gradually the Greek bands gained the upper hand, but the conflict was ended by the Young Turk Revolution in 1908. Background: since the creation of the modern Greek state in 1830, the megali idea, an irredentist concept of a Greek state, dominated Greek politics. The megali idea project called for the annexation of all ethnic Greek lands, including Macedonia, parts of which had participated in the Greek War of Independence in the 1820s, were unsuccessful and remained under foreign rule. There was a rebellion in 1854 aiming to unite Macedonia with Greece, but it failed. Initially the conflict was waged through educational and religious propaganda, with a fierce rivalry developing between supporters of the ecumenical Patriarchate of Constantinople, who generally identified as Greek, and supporters of the Bulgarian Exarchate, which had been established by the Ottomans in 1870. As Ottoman rule in the Balkans crumbled in the late 19th century, competition arose between Greeks and Bulgarians over the multi-ethnic region of Macedonia. The defeat of Greece in the Greco-Turkish War of 1897 was a loss that appalled Greeks. The Ethnicity was dissolved by Prime Minister Theotokis. Greek-Bulgarian relations in Ottoman Macedonia. In 1894, an organization known as the Internal Macedonian Revolutionary Organization was founded by Bulgarian anti-Ottoman revolutionaries in Thessaloniki, with the aim of liberating Macedonia and Thrace from Ottoman rule. Initially IMRO was declared as a Bulgarian organization, but later it was open to all ethnic groups in Macedonia, and IMRO claimed that it was fighting for the autonomy of Macedonia and not for annexation to Bulgaria. In practice, most of the followers of the IMRO were Bulgarians, though they also had some Aromanian supporters, like Pitu Guli, Mite of the Vlach, Iri Musitano and Alexander Koshka. Many of the members of the organization saw Macedonian autonomy as an intermediate step to unification with Bulgaria, but others saw as their aim the creation of a Balkan federal state, with Macedonia as an equal member. Already from 1895, armed bands of Komitadjis were formed in Bulgaria in order to reinforce the activities of IMRO in Macedonia. One of the first activities was the capture of the predominantly Greek town of Melaniko, but they couldn't hold it for more than a few hours. Bulgarian bands destroyed the Pomog village of Dospat, where they massacred local inhabitants. This kind of activity alerted Greeks and Serbians, who made a farce of the slogan, Macedonia to Macedonians. Thus, Serbia and especially Greece opposed the IMRO movement. The Greeks of Macedonia had no interest in autonomy, but desired gnosis with Greece, which cause was supported by the Greek government. The situation in Macedonia became heated and started to affect European public opinion. In April 1903, a group called Gemetji with some assistance from the IMRO blew up the French ship Wiki-vr and the Ottoman bank in the harbour of Thessaloniki. In August 1903, IMRO managed to organize an uprising in Macedonia and the Adrianople Vilayet. After the forming of the short-lived Krushevo Republic, The insurrection was suppressed by the Ottomans with the subsequent destruction of many villages and the devastation of large areas in western Macedonia and around Kirkales near Adrianople. The failure of the 1903 insurrection resulted in the eventual split of the IMARO into a left-wing faction and a right-wing faction, which weakened the organization. Additionally, Macedonian Committee. In order to strengthen Greek efforts for Macedonia, the Macedonian Committee was formed in 1903, under the leadership of wealthy publisher Dimitrios Kalapithakis. Its members included Ion Dragoumis and Pavlos Melas. Under these conditions, in 1904 a vicious guerrilla war broke as response of IMRO activities between Bulgarian and Greek bands within Ottoman Macedonia. The Bishop of Kastoria, Germanos Karavangelis, sent to Macedonia by the ambassador of Greece Nikolaos Mavrokordatos and the consul of Greece in Monastiri, Ion Dragoumis, realized that it was time to act in a more efficient way and started organizing Greek opposition, while Dragoumis concerned himself with the financial organization of the efforts. The central figure in the military struggle was the very capable Cretan officer Georgios Keitakis. Keitakis later became a war hero in the Balkan Wars and World War I, and was defense minister in the interwar years. Bishop Germanos Karavangelis animated the Greek population against the IMRO and formed committees to promote the Greek national interests, taking advantage of the internal political and personal disputes in IMRO. Keitakis and Karavangelis initially succeeded to recruit some IMRO former members and to organize guerrilla groups that were later reinforced with people sent from Greece and thus were mainly composed of ex-officers of the Hellenic army. The volunteers brought from Crete, from the Mani area of the Peloponnese, as well as Macedonian Greeks, such as Evangelos Natsis from the village of Asprogia, Lazaros Apostolidis from Kastoria, Captain Gialis from Ierisos, Konstantinos Kotas from the village of Roulia, Florina Prefecture, Michael Siounidis, Captain Ramnalis, Pantelis Papayanou, Stefanos Papargalos from Veria, Dimitrios Dalipis from Kastoria, Pericles Drakos from Kavala, Christos Delios, Christos Argyrakos and many more. The rebel fighters that fought for the Greek cause were known as Macedoniomachoi. They were portrayed by Greek writer Penelope Delta in her novel Tau Alpha Mu Upsilon Sigma Tau Iota Kappa Alpha Tau Omicron Beta Alpha Lambda Tau Omicron Upsilon, as well as in the book of memoirs Mu Alpha Kappa Epsilon Delta Omicron Nu Iota Kappa Omicron Sigma Gamma Omega Nu by Germanos Karavangelis. While on the other side, the fighters of IMRO and their activities are depicted in the book Confessions of a Macedonian Bandit, a Californian in the Balkan Wars, written by Albert Sonicson, an American volunteer in the IMRO during the Macedonian Struggle. Guerrilla activity. The Greek state became concerned, not only because of Bulgarian penetration in Macedonia but also due to Serbian interests, which were concentrated mainly in Skopje and Bitola area. The rioting in Macedonia and especially the death of Pavlos Melas in 1904 caused intense nationalistic feelings in Greece. This led to the decision to send more guerrilla troops in order to thwart Bulgarian efforts to bring all of the Slavic-speaking majority population of Macedonia on the side. The Greek General Consulate in Thessaloniki, under Lambros Goromilas, became the center of the struggle, coordinating the guerrilla troops, distributing military material and nursing the wounded. Fierce conflicts between the Greeks and Bulgarians started in the area of Kastoria, in the Janitsa Lake area, and elsewhere. During 1905, guerrilla activity increased and the Macedoniomachoi gained significant advantage within 10 months, extending the control towards the areas of Mariovo and East Macedonia, Castano-Horia. the plains north and south of Florina and the routes around Monastir. However, from early 1906 the situation became critical and the forces of the Macedonia were forced to withdraw from various areas. The manpower during that period was reduced from 1,000 to California, 200, perhaps a little more than the Comitages, but nevertheless the groups of Telozagras and Ioannis Domesticius had some success in the marsh of Janitsa. There were great advances of the Serb forces, joined by Muslim Slavs, in summer of 1906 in the northern areas of the Sanjak of Skopje. War crimes were committed by both sides during the Macedonian struggle, according to a 1900 British report compiled by Alfred Bilioti, who is considered to have heavily relied on Greek intelligence agents. Starting from 1897, the members of the exarchist committees had embarked upon a systematic and extensive campaign of executions of the leading members of the Greek side. Moreover, Bulgarian Comitages pursued a campaign of extermination of Greek and Serbian teachers and clergy. On the other hand, there were attacks by Greek Andartes on many Bulgarian villages, with the aim of forcing their inhabitants to switch their allegiance to the Patriarchate and accept Greek priests and teachers. But they also carried out massacres against the civilian population, especially in the central parts of Macedonia in 1905 and in 1906. One of the notable cases was the massacre at the village Zagora, which was an aggressive exarchist pro-Bulgarian stronghold predominantly populated by Bulgarians, near Kistoria on 25 March 1905, where between 60 and 78 villagers were killed by Greek bands. According to British reports on political crimes, during the period from 1897 to 1912, over 4,000 political murders were committed, excluding those killed during the Ilinden uprising and the members of the Bulgarian and Greek bands. Of those who were killed, 53% were Bulgarians, 33.5% were Greeks, Serbs and Romanians together 3.5% and 10% were of an unknown nationality. Both guerrilla groups had also to confront the Turkish army, though the Ottoman administration often ignored the activity of the Greek guerrillas and, according to Dakin, assisted them outright. However, once the subversive potential of the Bulgarian side had been neutralized, Ottoman policy ended the favorable neutrality to the Greek side and embarked upon relentless persecutions against the Andartes, though even then the main interest was to suppress the Bulgarian gangs. These conflicts ended after the revolution of Young Turks in July 1908, as they promised to respect all ethnicities and religions, and to provide a constitution. Consequences. The success of Greek efforts in Macedonia was an experience that gave confidence to the country. It helped develop an intention to annex Greek-speaking areas and bolster Greek presence in the still Ottoman-ruled Macedonia. The events in Macedonia, specifically the consequences of the conflicts between Greek and Bulgarian national activists, including Greek massacres against the Bulgarian population in 1905 and 1906, gave rise to pogroms against the California, 70,000–80,000 strong Greek communities that lived in Bulgaria, who were considered to share responsibility for the actions of the Greek guerrilla groups. Nevertheless, the Young Turk movement resulted in a few instances of collaboration between Greek and Bulgarian bands, while this time the official policy in both countries continued to support the penetration of armed fighters into Ottoman Macedonia, but without having fully ensured that there would be no attacks on each other.